Hi, I am Multita Victor. Welcome to this new video where we are doing the overview of Black Lightning Season 2. I just rewatched the show. It was interesting. Join our Discord in the description below for more update on the future content we will cover. I cover arrowverse for now. dctv one day or another day, like Titans maybe, Gotham, uh, other stuff. So I hope you guys will enjoy. And yeah, I have a lot to say here about Black Lightning Season 2. On my first watch, I thought it was mediocre at best. I lost interest very fast because of all the breaks CW like to give, and when the season ended, I decided to finish it because I started it. And then I was like, okay, that's not a bad show, but it's not amazing. I was wrong. On my second watch, when I rewatched everything on season 2, I was hooked. Uh, I was really interested and invested in the storyline. It's a well written show. In season 2, we start off with uh, Thunder, uh, basically Anissa, one of the daughters of Black Lightning, and she is now adopting a new mental, the Blackbird. And Blackbird like to steal money from gangs to bring back that money to a church to give that said money to the right people. Uh, a bit like Robin Hood, if we can say it that way. And that causes a rift between uh, Anissa and Jefferson, because Jefferson is like, you are not better than them because you are stealing as well. You are doing bad stuff. It's not good. And yeah, this is like the first half. We also get a Jennifer that is slowly getting powers, and her parents don't want her to go back at school anymore because she can hurt people with her powers. She is basically a stronger Black Lightning. She has similar powers as her father, and this is very interesting. And now, because Jennifer is a teenager and she is pissed off at that, she wants to fly away from home. A bit like Smallville between season 2 and 3, when Clark decided to go live in Metropolis. That's the kind of example I can give. And Jennifer went away from her parents' house with Khalil. So part of the back half of the season was uh, Jefferson, Lynn, and Anissa and Gamby all searching for Jennifer because they are worried. And of course, Khalil is on the run. He decided to turn his back on Tobias. Tobias not happy. Tobias decide to send a killer after Khalil, making Jennifer as well in danger. Now, at some point in the season, she decided to come back on her own with Khalil, and Khalil want to testify against Tobias. And now, because it's a TV show, and because everyone can be corrupt, and because Tobias is all powerful, he is able to capture Khalil, despite SWAT and police uh, pushing Khalil into witness protection. It's a TV show, so they know where the cars are, and they know when to strike the cars to capture Khalil. Then Tobias removed the implant in Khalil back. And now, when you remove such thing, the pain should be high enough to kill you. This is one of my few issues. Khalil should have died on the spot there. Now, I understand the writing and the contract issue. Maybe it was under a contract for a certain amount of episode and they were not able to remove the actor from the show too early. That's why they kept him alive, giving him some kind of plot armor. And on the writing standpoint, um, maybe it's also to drive Jennifer closer to Khalil, since Khalil is back to square zero with uh, losing his ability to walk. He cannot walk anymore because he lost the implant. But now this is interesting because this time he's not blaming Jefferson anymore. He's thanking Jefferson. Khalil is thinking. He is like, thank you, Jefferson. You did everything you could. I'm the one that left. And he puts his anger toward Tobias. Then later on, uh, Khalil dies. And it took too long, but I'm fine with him dying. Now, as a side story, we also get Lala uh, being brought into the mix. He was resurrected. He was brought back to life by some kind of wizard, I guess, because comics books are like that. We also get a Lynn storyline where she helps out the ASA to take care of the Pods kid that were found in season one. We also get the Markovian, uh, some kind of enemy military, I'd say, I'd assume. And the Markovian also won their own army of metahuman and Pod kids. And we also get O'Donnell, one of the guys, one of the higher guys in the ASA, one of the villains. He is basically there, and he find out that the Pierce family have powers, and this will lead to season 3. Um, a lot of things happen in season 2. Before recording this video, I was like, maybe the season was too long. But then, as I break down most of the plot points in season 2, I'm like, oh, it's not that long. That's fine, actually. 16 episodes for season 2 was well done. We also get Anderson knowing that Jefferson is Black Lightning because he is a detective and he is smart and he put 2 and 2 to create 4. Now, what else? Yeah, Jefferson has been demoted to teacher. He is no more the principal of Garfield. It's mainly because he was not around when Painkiller attacked the school last year. So this is interesting because that means there's a link between season 1 and 2, and I like that kind of stuff. When you bring past thing to on to present, this is interesting. This is building on your world. This is building on your series. This is building on your story. You just don't create like filler. You need to watch the series season 1, 2, 3, 4. Because sometimes in some show they tend to forget, or sometimes in show they just don't address anything that happened in the past. So this is another good thing. Season 2 has so much to offer and it has so much flaws as well. In my own opinion, this is average. It's not mediocre, it's average. When you expect a superhero TV show, this is what you are getting. Some episodes are really boring. That's why on my first watch, it was really hard to keep going when they were doing breaks in between episodes, and also because that's the kind of show you want to binge watch. You don't want to watch on the weekly basis because some episodes are really boring and hard to watch. But when you watch the entire series, when you have access to the 16 episode, it's fine. Even if some episodes are boring, they are still important. Despite their lack of action, they are important to the story, and this is what makes it average. This is what makes it good. I believe what really dragged down season 2 and 1 is the lack of action in a superhero TV show. Now, the storytelling is well done. Uh, we also discover that Anissa' girlfriend may have power. She is maybe schizophrenic. We don't know. So you see, there's a lot, and nothing feel rushed. Nothing is out of place. Everything is together. It's working well together, and I like that. Now, as a grade, I I'm torn apart between a 7 and a 7.5 out of 10. I believe season 1 I was giving it a 7. Season 2 is just a bit better. I say a bit better because there's a lot going on, and I feel like season 1 had a much more impressive season finale, and Gimby was unique in season 1. In season 2, Gimby still does interesting thing. He's still unique. He's still one of the best characters in the series, but he did not kill any major villain. In season 1, Gimby killed a major villain. This is what made it so shocking and like, wow, one of the good guys kills one of the bad guys. That's very good. And I think another issue I got with Black Lightning is the fact that nobody really stayed dead. Like, they are all brought back. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. It's so cool. Like, I mean, I know what they will be doing with Painkiller in season 3 and 4, and this is fine. But I'm not a fan of killing off people is never really working. I mean, anyway, let's take a look to the comment other people had to have, or what other people said about season 2. Cannot wait to see it. Let's do this. Now, let's take a look to what other people had to say. This is pretty low, 46%. I don't really understand or agree with that. Well, I do understand. Maybe some people don't like agenda, but I don't agree with that. Now, let's read my comment first. I always remembered season 2 being mediocre at best. I was wrong. Upon my second watch, it was better than what I remembered. The start of the season is very slow. Season 2 is the improved version of season 1 and 2. Season 2 had among the best episode in the entire season. Sometimes you can feel agenda being pushed, but it's still done the proper way. Agenda are there to support characters and build them better. Tobias is a very good villain, but I felt like he was overused. Now, I did not say that on my cam part of the video, but I feel like after Khalil murder, I should say, or after Khalil got his back removed, they should have sent Tobias in jail or whatever. They should have found a reason and a way to write off Tobias, because I don't want Tobias. He was a good villain in season one. In season two, he was still interesting and relevant with the Kal-El stuff. But at the end of the season, any other gangster could take over Tobias' role, giving us a break from Tobias. So by the end, when he's sent in a black site because he's a dangerous meta-human, I like that. At last, they got rid of him. Anyway, Tobias was good in season one. In two, I'm not impressed. So once the Callion storyline over, he should have been removed from the show, letting the Markovian taking over as the villain. Lynn was much better in season 2 than 1, and she was part of the main story, and she didn't feel disconnected. O'Donnell is another cliche villain, sadly. He's just like the other bad guy in season 1. The difference here, O'Donnell, I'm guessing, is more by the book. That's why the government is backing him up. He is one dimensional, and when you believe he is changing, you are wrong. You should say that. I say that because at some point you're like, he let Lynn do her stuff. Is he changing? No, he's not. He's just manipulating. He's just playing the long game, and he's just manipulating Lin. Gimby was amazing as usual. One of my issues would be the fact that nobody stays dead. Lala came back. Painkiller is planned on coming back. This season is the average season of the arrowverse. Khalil Jen running away from Freeland was interesting. The school storyline was interesting. Jefferson is a great lead for the show. Shadowbird, good idea, liking it. Jennifer taking the entire season to control her power made sense, and I enjoyed it. So you see, there's not that much negativity. It's really some episodes are hard to watch. So let's take a look to other people thoughts. Not critics, other people. It's okay, something to watch. Agreed. This show is truly underrated. One of DC's best shows. Definitely show the divide within the community when unity should be amplified. This is true. Tobias, well, is a strong villain, but he is becoming one note. The story is still slow but deeply interesting. Yeah, Tobias, not really. Way overrated. It's not because it's related to the black culture that it's necessarily good. I love the DC universe, but you all have to stop being leaky with such soporific product. This is being harsh. I believe that person just don't like the idea of having a black cast, but even there, I mean, maybe you find it too boring. As I said, some episodes are hard to watch, and sometimes it's long to watch, but the storytelling is there. The content is there. Not good at all. I mean, Lightning has decent production, but a terrible plot and even worse direction. This is a bit harsh, but I cannot blame you, like, if you don't enjoy it. Everyone has their own tastes. A wonderful superhero drama for the black community period. It delivers. Wonderful. I doubt it. Black Lightning is back for another season after a successful first run on the CW TV's First black superhero and the rest of his family continue to fight against crime, social issue, and Tobias Eden. The town of Freeland is a disarray after more children are being affected by the green light drug. And Tobias is gaining more power. Pierce may be out of a job when the school wants to close, and his family is going through various change, power rise, and emotionally Jennifer powers are evolving, and Anissa still want to give back to the town to help get it back on its feet. Pierce's replacement takes matter into his own hand by making massive change to the school, but not for the better. Cyanide is taking out and Tobias as Khalil as his new associate to continue taking over the city. Then a new hire for Kill called Cutter comes in. There's not that many dots in what he's saying, so I found interesting in his comment he spoke about the school storyline. I really enjoyed it. Uh, when they were pushing the agenda of white privilege, they also pushed the agenda that black are also victim. Both sides are victim. So that was interesting. I like that in some ways because some shows will only tell you one thing. They won't give both sides. And the character also had backstory with how bad his life was, but that's no reason to be a jerk toward kids. So because he had a bad life, I want to if he wants to give a bad life to others, which is bad but very human to do. A new band of enemies led by a woman called Lukir is in a race war with a group called the Purdy. Okay, this storyline was my least favorite. It was so boring. I didn't like it at all. Like that was one of the subplot of like the first half of the season. That storyline was painful. It was really painful. It was like my least favorite thing about the entire show, not just season 2. And she utilizes a silver liquid. I think this is because of that storyline that I actually dropped the show until the season ended to finale finish the season. I'm pretty sure that's it because I really did not like that storyline. That's deadly to people. Anissa plays Robin Hood by robbing from the biggest crime syndicate to help the less fortunate, but Jefferson doesn't agree with her methods. Jennifer meets another meta-human who puts her in a metaphysical safe space to make her emotion and power stable. It might be challenging for her to put aside her feeling for Khalil or Meta are being, oh my, this is a true novel, experimented on inside pods, but can they all be saved? Is the system rigged? Does the government on us, our superior, only concerned with themselves since they don't speak African American? Do school have more money for metal detector and guns more than books for students? Are school more comfortable with a white principal than a black principal to make things more accessible? Black beautification at beauty shops come to express their blackness each visit. It's sadly true to this day that even without the benefit of being rich and white, being black means missing out on every opportunity despite the qualification. Society brands us as second class citizens still. How can we be hurting so much and not lead? Finally leads to all faces in you or one face enough to determine the fate of Freeland as well as Tobias and Blacklightning. What lies ahead for okay. I must say this. He sees much more agenda than what the show is doing, in my own opinion. I I mean, okay, take it the way you want it. That's how you see the show. That's how you see the show. See, this is why this is why people have bad idea about Black Lightning. They think it's only about the color. It's not. I'm wondering if developers Salim Akil as planned for the show, you know, the kind of plan showrunner have to for when and how their show conclude and therefore write the show with an overall angle as opposed to just operating on a season by season basis like most other TV shows. Now, I think I have the answer. Maybe it's false, maybe it's true. Who knows? Only Salim Akil knows and his team, I'm guessing. But here's what I must say. Since it's well written, I do believe they planned the series before entering the series to make sure we have a good product. And this is what makes it good. Season 1 is the foundation of it. Season 2 is a great follow up. Season 3 is another great follow up. Season 4 is a good ending. I won't say great ending because I feel like some behind the scene drama affected the ending. I do believe season 4 was like the climax of the series, and season 5 could have been the conclusion of the series, the outro, the goodbye, the let's say let's say goodbye to the cast, the show, the story. Now, some people say Black Lightning has been cancelled. This is not true. They ended on their own turn. But here's the catch. We had behind the scene drama. So I do believe because of that behind the scene drama, they were like, okay, we will finish on season 4 as they were creating season 4. But at first, I strongly believe they wanted to do 5 seasons. I don't see the show going to season 6, but I believe season 4 was about to give us the ending, and then season 5 would be the ending. So I really think that this show has been made like a long story you can watch over many years. This second season felt more like just a continuation from what happened before. This is true, I agree with that. Not starting a new book, if you will. I agree with that. Season 3 and Season 4 both feel the same. However, I feel like Season 4 is not as amazing as what it could have been. I bring this up because Black Lightning stands out in that it does not feel like it is starting a new show every season, but actually telling a much bigger story that will last over the course of multiple seasons. This is true, I agree with that. I am pretty sure this is what Salim Akil did. It was like, we will have a long story and not just character arc or smaller arc in one story. I believe they were like, let's do an entire series. Like, Lightning is still the best in the superhero genre on TV due to its more patient, not to be confused with slow. Mm, I won't say it's the best, and I do believe sometimes it is a slow because they need to respect the 40 minutes. And sometimes I feel like some episodes are dragged on because they thought they had enough content, but they don't. So they need to drag it on to make it work in 40 minutes. I feel like season 2 had more moments like that, but in season 1 and 2, I felt like some episode overextended what they were supposed to do because time. You see, sometimes you see an episode 39 minute, 38 minute, or 40 minute. This means they run out of idea to just fill the hole in the episode, and sometimes maybe 30-minute episode could be enough in some episode, because as I said, some parts are indeed slow. But this is what I believe. This is not facts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, as the guy says, they are more patient. But I believe sometimes they were just filling holes. Andronic's sense of pacing, sometimes it had pacing issue in my own opinion. Not in the overall season, in some episode we had pacing issue. A continued emphasis on saving innocent in a community that desperately needs saving, and a dedication to deeply exploring its own universe in a way that doesn't fall into a rinse repeat villain of the week structure. This is true. This is not villain of the week. This season has Jefferson Pierce brought down to a more humble level as he loses his position as a principal of Garfield due to not being present when the school was attacked by Tobias. It's also explored the fallout of the discovery of the Greenlight Kids with Lynn, leading to the science teams to try to wake them up and study their powers under the brutal authority of the agent Odell. As Freeland become more populated with metahuman, but Tobias also has his own alternative plan for these people of great powers. Meanwhile, Jennifer is placed under house quarantine by her parent as she struggles to control her volatile abilities, rendering her more powerful than her father and sister combined. But that won't stop her from communicating with Khalil. What I've continued to like about Black Lightning is an excellent blend of removing much of the procedural trope nonsense villain of the week. I think I went too low. Powerful hero always getting confounded by such villain for inexplicable reasons. Supporting cast with rather convenient non-superpowered talent like limitless hacking and tech innovation of other weekly superhero shows, maintaining a grounded tone that feel earnest. An excellent episode by episode pacing that doesn't turn the show into a slug like all more premium superhero shows are. It represents a direction that I feel like the genre is heading in, and I feel like that change happening in current shows like Supergirl and especially Arrow right now. In addition, there is a strong focus on character driven drama, as it really is more about people behind the mask than not. I agree with that. I will add this up. Black Lightning has a lack of Black Lightning uh, in both season 1 and 2, and I think it was intended, uh, and also believe it dragged down the show a bit, in my own opinion. But as you can see, other people like it. Some episode, Jefferson Pierce never even put on his costume despite him being the titular lead, and it never feels wrong because you hardly ever get a sense of a separation of identities. Now, I will repeat myself. I do believe we get a lack of Black Lightning, and this is why people don't enjoy the show. Now, this one enjoy it, but most people will tell you, "Oh, it's boring," and lack of Black Lightning. This is true, but I think this is what they wanted. Blacklightning is Jefferson. Regardless of whether he wears the mask, one criticism I have for this season is that the menace of Tobias Well seems to have diminished a bit. This is true because you already had him once and you drag him again for an entire season. And you reuse again in season 3 and 4 because apparently they don't know which villain they could use for the series. Um, One could easily blame this on the fact that he's still involved with the show since the tradition as a fate is to dispose of the big bad in the season finale, but I think it is more that the things Tobias does this season are less involved with affecting the town of Freeland and more of the long game of obtaining superpower and metas to carry his evil deeds. Man, that person has a lot to say, but this is interesting because this is the overview of the season, and he is indeed speaking about stuff I did not really touched on. So that person has a good understanding of the show. The most menacing he was this season was in his interaction with Khalil, which go from taunting to toying, being brutally violent with a smile on his face. Another would be that I feel like the world building of Freeland took a bit of a backseat most of the time, not as much screen time devoted to Garfield or other minuscule aspects of the school, less development on how the town operates, like the government, the police structure, and so forth. Also, is Anessa still going to college? If not, then what exactly is she doing other than being a superhero herself and occasionally partying and hooking up with girls? This is true. But later on, you get to see her working in a hospital, so this is part true. This leads into a indicated direction of the next season, which is going to involve conflict that expands far outside of Greenland to a country called Markovia, of which presumably the US is going to be in its urgent arm race with. And if Star Trek has taught me anything, it's that such a war, cold or not, will not end well. This concerns me as I worry the show is going to start straying away from its earth, which is about the living and breeding town of Freeland, and more on a foreign policy conflict in a fictional universe. I mean, it's better than doing this at say season 5 for that would come off like jumping the shark if Akil and his writer figure out a way to thematically blend the two things setting. I'd be interested to see, but as of right now the direction is concerning, as I just don't feel like they are done focusing on saving Freeland and Hope. It won't get ignored, but as of right now, it is, like I said before, still the best in the genre right now. That person do like the show. This is very interesting. So I think that was one of the best comment I read on this website. And I will just take a second look and I will tell you this. Travis B, if you see this video, leave a comment on this video. Let me know. I want to do a collab with you. You look smarter than a lot of people I see around. You had some good thought. You really wanted to understand the show and to watch the show instead of judging the show, and I like that. Anyway, that was it for today. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other in future video. Have a great day.